morning. Welcome to SBU-TV. I'm Erin Lanahan.
And I'm Justin Myers. Here are your top stories today.
Bill Cosby, known for decades as America's dad, has now been given a new label, sexually violent predator. The 81-year-old disgraced comedian has been sentenced to state prison for sexually assaulting Andrea Constand. CNN's reporter Camila Bernal in Norristown, Pennsylvania, has more with an update.
For decades, the defendant has been able to hide his true self and hide his crimes using his fame and fortune. Finally, Bill Cosby has been unmasked, and we have seen the real man as he is headed off to prison.
As Judge Stephen O'Neill handed down his sentence, he declared that Bill Cosby had committed a serious crime and said the day and time has come for him to face his punishment. The 81-year-old was facing a maximum of 30 years behind bars, but O'Neill merged the 3 counts since they all related to the same 2004 sexual assault.
This has been a long journey to justice for all of the accusers.
Cosby was ordered to spend 3 to 10 years in state prison. In addition to his sentence, the judge also ruled that Cosby will be classified as a sexually violent predator. Cosby will have to register with state police, undergo sex offender counseling, and notify his community of his status. His lawyers say they plan to appeal.
Mr. Cosby's defense team is preparing a motion to address Mr. Steele's use of falsified evidence. Mr. Cosby clearly has been denied his right to a fair trial.
Andrea Constand and several other Cosby accusers were in the courtroom for sentencing, but notably missing was Cosby's wife of 54 years, Camille.
Cosby will serve his sentence after being evaluated at the State Correctional Institution in Collegeville, Pennsylvania.
Since March of last year, the Archdiocese of Buffalo has been under fire for hundreds of sexual abuse cases that were hidden from the public eye. Nicholas Gallo went to a local parish not too far from Bonus and showed us what's going on.
Charlie Specht, a graduate from St. Bonaventure University's Journalism and Mass Communications program and the Channel 7 WKBW News I-Team, reported on Monday that Reverend Ronald B. Mirzwa of the Holy Name of Mary Church in Ellicottville has been put on administrative leave due to an abuse complaint that was made in 2002. According to WKBW's story, Mirzwa told the I-Team that he didn't remember allegations that, quote, made a group of boys parade in their underwear. Speck tweeted out this record of the Buffalo Archdiocese that gave for not including him in the original list of accused priests. I traveled to Ellicottville, passing by the church on Jefferson Street, where I walked down Washington Street to Watson's Chocolates. An employee who did not want to be named attended this church when they were a kid and had to say this on the situation.
Things like this come out is that I never want to jump to conclusions about it.
I spoke with a former parishioner who was actively involved with the parish as a child and shared her experiences.
My sister kind of went on this rant about how the Catholic Church is corrupt, but I know that my parents are really distraught about it and upset. And I think knowing, because me and my younger sister, I don't think they're concerned anything happened, but we used to spend a lot of time alone with him.
I reached out to Father Mirzwa, but he hung up on me. I also have been trying to reach the staff members at this parish, but no one has been able to make a comment to me or open their doors. So I went on their website and I got their cell phone, and here's what I've been getting.
The number you dialed is not in service.
From SBU-TV, I'm Nicholas Gallo.
According to another parishioner, Bishop Malone sent a letter to Father Rocco at the church and will be reading it during Mass this Sunday. Nicholas Gallo will be following the story as it continues to develop. The Senate hearing regarding sexual assault allegations against the Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh took place yesterday. Omar Jimenez reports from Washington, D.C.
A key vote in appointing the nation's next Supreme Court justice is set to move forward. Following an emotional hearing Thursday, the Senate Judiciary Committee will decide whether or not to bring Brett Kavanaugh's Supreme Court nomination to the Senate floor. A historic hearing on Capitol Hill, it began with Christine Blasey Ford relaying her accusation that she was physically and sexually assaulted by Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh in the 1980s.
I was pushed onto the bed, and Brett got on top of me.
And the hearing ended with Kavanaugh proclaiming his innocence.
This whole 2-week effort has been a calculated and orchestrated political hit.
During the hearing, Republican Senator Lindsey Graham erupted, calling proceedings a sham and a charade, and reading an endorsement letter about Kavanaugh from the American Bar Association.
His integrity is absolutely unquestioned.
But the American Bar Association is now also calling for an FBI investigation. The legal group jumped into the political fray following the hearing Thursday, issuing a strongly worded letter to the Judiciary Committee. A group of senators remain undecided on their votes, notably Arizona's Jeff Flake, Maine's Susan Collins, West Virginia's Joe Manchin, and Alaska's Lisa Murkowski. If they vote along party lines, a procedural vote is tentatively scheduled on the Senate floor Saturday, with a final confirmation vote intended for Tuesday.
The Senate Judiciary Committee is currently meeting to vote this morning on if Kavanaugh gets the Supreme Court position.
Have you from an unknown number claiming you owe them money? You might have experienced a phone scam. This week, I looked into how to prevent falling for these robocalls. If he gets any calls from an unknown number, Cameron Hurst has learned not to pick up.
I do get a lot of robocalls and phone scams, and I've kind of learned to not answer them if I see that the numbers are kind of weird and whatnot.
There are about 3.4 billion phone scams, also known as robocalls, made every month. Most people think these callers are looking for their bank information, but that's not always the case. Dr. Hussein Sarasadov told me more about what information these scammers are after.
Mainly your bank account. It's the main place where they can get money, but other information like what's your first pet's name?
These details to your life are what scammers look for to get into your private accounts. Sarasadov also wants people to know the key signs of a scam call.
Scam calls, the ones that pose as someone who is from an agency or someone legitimate, but they have ill intentions and they want your personal information. Those are the most dangerous.
I spoke with Trooper James O'Callahan on the phone about what people should do if they're the victim of a phone scam.
You can report it to the police. We cannot do anything about it unless you're out in some sort of monetary way.
The biggest tip to prevent attacks like this happening to you is that if you don't recognize the phone number, just don't pick up. For SBU-TV, I'm Erin Lanahan. If you do pick up one of these calls, don't pick up again. The more often you answer, the more these scammers will bother you.
Portville potholes are causing problems. SBU-TV's Jocelyn Person went to dig up information on the complaints and how potholes are affecting tires.
Ouch! It's those kinds of potholes that's causing the tires of drivers in Portville to be damaged. Portville resident Wendy Chapman voiced her displeasure with the road conditions directly to the town council.
These things could have been prevented if they were noticed early enough and somebody took enough intervention.
I reached out to the town council members and received no response. However, I spoke with Highway Superintendent, who goes by the name T.J. Shaw from Department of Public Works, to find out when will the potholes be fixed.
Usually within a week or two, we can actually get to the road to patch it. But you might also patch the same pothole 5 times.
These are tiny potholes here, but if you take a look right here, these are the kinds of potholes that are damaging the tires of residents of Portville and costing them out of pocket.
John West, owner of J&R Auto, explains how the potholes can damage tires.
50% of the cars that come in here are due to the road surfaces causing the alignments to be knocked out of place.
Jocelyn Person, SBU-TV.
According to TJ Shaw, most parts in Portville are in the process of being patched up before winter.
Olean will soon remove 4 city houses using a government grant. Sean Mickey has a story.
The City of Olean Common Council approved use of the Community Development Block Grant funds for the demolition of 4 houses.
These things are adding no value. They're cancerous to our neighborhoods. And what you see with blight is, all of a sudden, it starts spilling over.
The house you see here is one slated for demolition, 213 West Green Street.
They were given to us in order so they wouldn't get in the hands of slumlords. Here the city of Olean is holding on to these properties and nothing's being done with them.
One resident was concerned if the city was going to get a fair bid for demolition.
You couldn't go out to the lowest, most responsible bidder. You only have X amount of dollars to do it.
There is no timetable yet for demolition. For SBU-TV, I'm Sean Mickey.
The demolition of the houses will begin once a bidder is selected.
Also this week, the City of Olean Common Council tabled the discussion on raising the mayor and common council salary. The council president said they need to take a hard look at the government as a whole. We will have more on this story next week.
The concentration of nicotine in a Juul is more than 3 times the amount found in other e-cigarettes. Our Tom Doyle went out to discover more about the popular e-cigarette trend.
When I came to college, everyone had a Juul.
You get like a little session and then you go out and do your thing.
Juul, Juul, Juul.
Juul is a brand of e-cigarettes made by Juul Labs Incorporation. It's small in size and looks like a flash drive that contains nicotine. Juuling has become extremely popular here at St. Bonaventure University, and we talked to several students who open up on how often they Juul. We also talked to the Wellness Center to discuss the side effects of it.
I've been trying to cut back, so I leave it in my room, so only when I'm in my room, which is probably like 5 or 6 times a day.
I Juul occasionally.
Juul is the equivalent to a pack of cigarettes. The nicotine found in a Juul is more than twice the amount of other e-cigarettes.
Well, any type of nicotine use is going to increase, heart rate. It's going to increase your risk of addiction. And so really associated with that would be, the attempt to discontinue use is going to, cause somebody to go through withdrawal symptoms. And so that can cause irritability. It can cause, difficulty with mood, shifting moods.
I do. I feel the health risks of juuling in my lungs every single day. Like, I can't do the same things that I was able to do. Like, I get out of breath a lot easier, so that's why I'm trying to cut back.
We were surprised by the results of our poll on Twitter. After speaking to several students who do Juul, only 14% of students in the poll said they Juul daily. For SBU-TV, I'm Tom Doyle.
New data is changing on a Juul, and every time you inhale a Juul, you're risking your long-term health.
SBU Connect is a new app put out by the campus to help students and staff stay connected and up to date. Here's Nicholas Youngs as he comments on his story.
From menus at the Hickey Dining Hall to event listings to campus social media links, SBU Connect is trying to make student life a little bit easier. I sat down with the app's co-creator, Robbie Chelik, to find out more.
We've always been talking about ways to better reach students when it comes to student engagement on a college campus. We realized that we wanted to centralize a lot of information students could find.
One of the more popular functions of the app is an instantaneous connection to Laundry View to find out what washers are open.
Well, according to the app, washers 12 and 9 are available. Let's just see if it's right. What do you know? Perfectly available.
The app is also being used by both the EDGE program and freshman welcome groups to allow students to check in to seminars via QR code. And for incoming freshmen, the app was heavily encouraged.
The app, I believe, during orientation, and then I didn't really need it till after that. But then when it came to welcome days, I needed it a lot, so I made sure I had it on there.
The app, however, has a few drawbacks, according to junior Liz Freeman.
Right now, club leaders don't have any administrative ability to actually put any events on the schedule. So there's a lot of hassle in going through getting things up on the app to be seen.
Useful as it is, SBU Connect may have a long way to go. Nicholas Youngs, SBU-TV.
The company Ellicottville LLC helped create the SBU Connect app.
Breast Cancer Awareness Month is upon us. Maya Capolino and Rob Barbieri find out what the Pink Pumpkin Project is doing this year.
Started at the kitchen table over one pumpkin and her son having the idea that they should put a breast cancer ribbon on it and sell it. And from there, it just became what we are today.
Off 4 Mile Road, pink and silver pumpkins run this warehouse. Board members and volunteers spray paint and decorate pumpkins. It's called the Pink Pumpkin Project. Mary Howard, a board member, tells us about the involvement with Pumpkinville.
So the family that owns, the Pulowskis that own Pumpkinville, contacted us this year and asked us to partner with them. They wanted to donate all the proceeds of their sunflowers to the Pink Pumpkin Project. So this previous weekend, We were there selling bundles of sunflowers. You could either buy the ones that were already cut in a bouquet, or you could go out and pick your own. So we have an individual who donated close to 100 pumpkins this year. His name is Corey Glover. And then we also purchased from local growers.
Last year they raised $15,000 in pumpkin sales. Carla Halls, another board member, tells us how people can get nominated for donations.
There's an actual application kind of process, if you will. We don't ask a lot of personal information as far as medical details or actual proof of breast cancer.
In Cattaraugus County, there's an annual average of 10 deaths per year who die from breast cancer. Robert Barbieri, SBU-TV.
The Pink Pumpkin Project provides both financial and emotional support for local women and men in our area up to a 45-mile radius, and that they're currently undergoing breast cancer treatments.
Fall Fest is coming this weekend. SBU-TV's Nick Ventura went to Ellicottville and got the inside scoop on what to expect from the festival.
The Ellicottville Fall Festival is this weekend. Even though it's an event known for its partying, it's geared towards family and friends.
I was told by a member of the Chamber of Commerce that there will be police working the streets. They are always happy to help with different events and make sure everybody is safe. All of the streets in the village will be closed due to the Fall Fest. I spoke with Communications, Events, and Membership Manager Barb Pump, who is on the board of the Ellicottville Chamber of Commerce, to discuss what happens during the Fall Fest.
The goal of Fall Festival is to put feet on the streets and show everyone what Ellicottville has to offer. Fall Festival is a great family event. Lots of different things going on. Not only the festival from 10 to 5 on Saturday and Sunday, but there's chairlift rides, both from Hollymont and Holiday Valley. I know that prices do increase for this weekend as far as lodging. A lot of that is because of the demand. There are so many people that book their stays. After a certain time, individuals that like to experience the bars and the restaurants here in Ellicottville, they come out after that. So it's great. There's something for everyone.
This is Nick Ventura with SBU-TV.
The Fall Fest is scheduled to be on Saturday, October 6th and 7th from 9 to 5.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us here at SBU-TV Sports, and I'm Nicholas Gallo. As basketball season is starting to heat up, Love Nicholson caught up with the men's basketball team for a quick preview of what is to come for this season.
I got the chance to talk to Courtney Stockard, where he told us what to expect in his final season here as a Bonnie.
So there's a lot of guys that have to get used to the system. I expect us to struggle a little bit at first, but once we get the ball rolling and everybody gets their feet wet, I think we should be good.
We then got the chance to talk to Coach Schmidt, where he told us what to expect with this upcoming season.
We had a great year last year, and one of the best years in the school's history, and we're very proud of. But last year's last year.
Courtney Stockard then gives us insight on his game and what he has improved this summer.
I would say probably my shooting and ball handling. But I made it a focal point to be like more of a defensive leader, more of a defensive stopper, and I think that's what's going to help us win this year, defense.
Courtney Stockard then gives us insight on his game and what he has improved this summer.
My shooting and ball handling. I made it a focal point to be like more of a defensive leader, more of a defensive stopper. That's what's going to help us win this year, defense.
According to GoBonnies.com, we see the Stockard didn't play from 2015 to 2017 due to a right foot injury. We asked him how does it feel to battle back and come back even stronger.
It's kind of tough, especially when you're not used to dealing with injuries, used to sitting out. It can have a mental toll on you, but once you get through it and once you learn how to cope with it, it's relieving once you're able to get back out there and play again.
We asked Courtney if he had any last words about this season.
Stay tuned.
Love Nicholson and Destiny Rodriguez, SBU-TV.
Let's take a look at our last week's highlights. Your St. Bonaventure men's soccer club would lose to Canisius, their three-little rival opponent, 4-0 at Canisius. The Bonnies will be setting off to take off another Atlantic 10 play against University of Massachusetts on September 29th. Despite a late comeback by the St. Bonaventure women's soccer club, they would fall to the A10 rival Richmond 2-1. Despite junior goalkeeper Lauren Malcolm's 10-save game, the Bonnies would lose their 6th consecutive game 1-0 against the Minutewomen of UMass. The Women's Soccer Club will be coming home Sunday, September 30th, to face off another conference rival, George Washington. Thanks for stopping by here at SBU-TV Sports. Now back to you, Aaron and Justin.
Thanks, Nick. And thank you to everyone for tuning in today. Make sure you tune in again next Friday at 10 a.m. for our next show.
Yeah, and we actually want to give a shout out to all of our new followers. Last night we reached 1,000 followers on Instagram, so make sure to check out our social media for me and Rob doing the In My Feelings challenge next week. Thanks again and have a great weekend.